everyone. So today we're doing more of Psychic Medium Maria Hill reacting to paranormal stories on Reddit. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe down below. We have a site with resources and answers to a lot of your questions you guys ask us about. So make sure to click the link down below or visit thehappyhealingshop.com. I should probably be asleep, right? Woke up to a weird feeling and saw a silhouette of a little boy standing on the other side of the apartment facing me. I turned on the light and it was gone. When I flipped my light off, I saw it again. Flipped the light on and went there to make sure there was nothing that could be causing a weird shadow, etc. There was nothing that could have created that specific shape, and it was standing in the pathway between my couch and wall, so it couldn't have been a shadow. I turned my light off again and it was there, flipped it back on, and slept with the light on for the rest of the night. Couldn't sleep with the light on for days.
Yeah, so again, this feels like one of those classic things you see in like a scary movie, paranormal movie.
Or even like the Shadow Hat Man.
Shadow Hat Man, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who creeps in and stands in the doorways, or you hear people seeing things in the window from the street or whatever. And they're temporarily manifesting it. And I think that they are knowingly gonna get they know they're gonna get your attention by doing these things. And sometimes just that acknowledgement is what they're looking for. In the case of like the Hat Man, which, depending on if it's the exact same description that you hear on the internet with like the classic hat and the overcoat kind of thing, that particular entity, being, whatever, does seem to not be like a super positive being, possibly some sort of, has some sort of agenda that we probably wouldn't enjoy. But a lot of times it's harmless. It's just, you may even be seeing an old imprint of whoever used to linger in the window a lot. Like sometimes I wonder, because I look out the back of my house all the time because I can see my backyard well, and I can kind of like take a look of the crops that I have in my yard to make sure everything looks okay from my room. And I wonder sometimes, like, oh, am I just going to leave like an ingrained energy here that someone might see at some point because I go to that window so many times and look out of it? So, we leave behind these little energetic signatures from us as we go about our space. So it could be that too.
Emix75 writes, went with my brother to see an old family property. It's always an old historic place, isn't it? My mother had inherited in a really rural area. We were looking about and it hadn't been lived in for decades. A bit of wind, a rainy day, both me and my brother were inspecting the house until we started hearing a weird rhythmic knock coming from around the building. Just a knock at regular intervals, much like clock sounds, but louder. We stepped out to look around, but the noise started sounding like it was getting further away from us until it disappeared. We left shortly afterwards. A couple of days go by. I stopped by my mom's. I asked her if she had any pictures of the original owner of the house, which was her grandfather, so my great-grandfather. She pulled it out, and guess what? The man had a wooden leg as a result of a war injury. Told my mother all about it, and it was like she was remembering him. She says that's exactly how it sounded when he walked on the porch. Weird as F.
Wow, that's like, a being. It could be a visiting spirit, or also, again, like we just talked about, like an energy signature and fragment of someone who once was there, but their spirit has long moved on, but they had this little fragment left behind. And, things like these patterns, like the leg hitting the ground, those create these kind of these patterns that exist over time, right? So imagine that sound being embedded over and over and over into space. Perhaps it's a residual energy, or perhaps it's like, the spirit coming back to visit and saying like, hello, everybody. Hey, fam. Like, I'm still here. You're all doing great. Just checking in. Me and my wooden leg are going to go now. But it's nice visiting with you, because people can mistake like spirits that are visiting as ghosts as well, which is a very common mix-up. But that's kind of cool. The family legacy continues.
Hello, kids. We'd like to take a moment today to share some great resources with you. As you're exploring on your spiritual journey, it can be confusing to know what to listen to and how to trust the information that you're getting. One thing we learned was that having help and guidance along the way was invaluable. We offer online courses that are perfect for you if you want to develop your psychic abilities, become a certified energy healer, heal from grief and loss, or even learn how to build and get paid for your spiritual gifts and hobbies. If you're looking for connection, events, and perks, we are so excited to announce the launch of our Happy Healing Club, our membership that includes so many perks, such as deep dives into spiritual metaphysical topics like reincarnation, exclusive channeled messages, themed events, numerology and palm reading workshops, shadow work, self-healing journals, and membership forum where you can chat and message with other like-minded people in our safe community, and so much more. Learn more about it by checking out our website, thehappyhealingshop.com, or click the link below that will take you straight there. Now back to the episode. Mardek's Murder writes, this is a long story, so it's actually quite a thing, so I'm going to try to sum it up. So this person got a driver's license at 22 years old, and at the time was driving a beat up car with no air conditioning, and the cigarette lighter was broken, so they could not charge their GPS system in the car. Back then, also didn't have a smartphone at the time, so I figured I would charge my GPS overnight, and it would survive the hour-and-a-half drive to my family's beach house. But pretty much I had an absolutely awful sense of direction. I can get a bit anxious when I get lost, or there was a lot of traffic. So the GPS suggested I take a different exit than I normally would, and I jumped at that chance. Whatever exit it wanted me to take also brought me to more dead stop traffic, and at this point the GPS was about to die, and I didn't even have a bottle of water on me. Around 12:30, I was driving through random towns, no idea where I was going, covered in sweat. GPS was dead, and I was on the verge of a nervous breakdown. I called my parents, who had no idea where I was, and suggested I stop somewhere to ask for directions. FYI, this is back in the times before smartphones were normal, so sometimes I'm like, how did we do it back then?
So
And I went back to my car, feeling defeated, and burst into tears. I didn't know what to do. I was half afraid I would never find my way home. I thought of my late uncle, who was a limo driver and the namesake of my son. I was sure he probably knew exactly where I was due to taking teenagers down the shore every year after their prom. I looked up at the ceiling of the car and cried, "Hey, uncle, see, I'm lost and afraid, and I have to get to the baby. Where the hell am I?" All of a sudden, I heard the mechanical voice of the GPS said, "At the stop sign, make a right." I looked down at the GPS and saw it was no longer dead, but it wasn't fully on either. Instead of showing a map or the main menu, it was just a blank white screen. It repeated to me, "At the stop sign, make a right." I figured I had a minute or so before it died again, so I went to the stop sign, made a right. The GPS directed me for the next half hour to the front of my family's beach house. As soon as I parked the car, instead of the GPS saying "you have reached your destination," the GPS said "goodbye," and it died again. I never heard it say goodbye to me before that day, and my family and I convinced that uncle helped me find a way home through the GPS. Oh.
Wow. First of all, okay, most importantly, Trang, you have such a great voice for, voiceover and navigation. I was like, wow, you may have a future in voiceovers for navigation. But
Why,
also,
thank
you. but also, this is a perfect example of how supported we really all are. We just don't realize that all we have to do is ask if we need a little extra help. We're being helped all the time anyway by our team, our loved ones, guides, angels, whatever. We have a different blend of them, but they're always looking out for us, and all we have to do is just ask.
Oh, wow.
And sometimes it takes a while to get an answer, but sometimes it can be immediate. And so in this case, they use technology to intervene and maybe perhaps charge the device with their own energy a little bit very quickly, just enough to give one key instruction. I mean, that's fabulous, right? And spirits will mess with all kinds of stuff. So in perhaps a moment of desperation, this person just almost gave it up to the beyond, and the beyond was like, "We got you, honey, don't you worry." So this is a good story to reaffirm that for people. I think.
And just how spirits can kind of I don't say mess with technology, but if they were to kind of help you out, one of the easiest ways for them is through technology.
Exactly.
Well, that does it for this episode. If you like what we're doing here, and if you haven't become a patron or member of our community yet, you can do so by clicking down below or visit thehappyhealingshop.com. It helps us to keep putting out content out there, keeps the lights on for us, and helps others while we do it. And if you got value out of this video, please make sure to click that thumbs up and subscribe button down below, and also share it with a person in your life that you know would enjoy this.